to take a minute and see how many of you are going to join in on this Facebook Live. Because in all honesty, I would like to approach this live a little differently than past lives. Whether you join me on watching Hi Courtney and joining in with this video when it's live, or if you get it and you see it on the replay, I feel like what is going to be really important is for us to have a dialogue. Hi Carrie. That means this is going to be very reliant upon commenting back and forth, because I'm the first person to tell you that I do not hold all of the expertise here. I am a learning mom / mental health clinician who is passionate about learning and asking educated questions. Thanks, Carrie. I am passionate about us asking the important questions of ourselves and of our doctors. And so this is where we together, especially as parents, share our knowledge, share our questions. So I am going to bring to the table what I know and love about, you guys know, hi Sig, hi Angie, what I know and love about bacteria and gut health. And please don't turn off if you are not Plexus affiliated, you're not a customer or an ambassador. Please just continue to watch and listen. Some of this might be within the wheelhouse of Plexus. A lot of it has to do just with good, solid, sound science, period. Okay, so again, I have notes because I have a lot to say about this. Immune health. So what we know about immune health, first and foremost, is it is solidly placed within the realm of the gut. And again, what is gut? Gut is all the way from your sinus passages all the way through your lower colon and about your bacteria. You guys, I know for myself, growing up in the United States, we have learned early and often that bacteria is not a good thing, when in fact there are certain bacteria that we need. In fact, hi Amy, we need a plethora, we need like a jungle of thriving bacteria. And we're going to talk about when and how that gets off kilter and what we can do about it, because bacteria, believe it or not, the gut sets the solid stage for immune health. Not only colds and flu and the pneumonia that I'm battling upstairs with my baby, but even more progressive illnesses, chronic illness, and even some disease. The gut and bacteria. So where in the world does our bacterial story begin? It begins at birth. You see, when a baby is in utero, we have pretty much sterile bacteria as far as bacteria wise. It isn't until the birth process that we begin to take on our first exposure and grow our bacteria. So birth is a very big deal. In fact, when babies go through their mama's birth canal, they ingest, they swallow the mom's vaginal bacteria. Now, where is that vaginal bacteria come from? You guessed it, the gut bacteria. So when they ingest that bacteria, which is very rich, believe it or not, in immune properties, this bacteria, they are then born into the hospital situation already having a very basic layer of immune health responses to their environment, to the bad bacteria, to toxins and chemicals and things that they come into contact with. Now, I'm guessing that there are going to be some of you that say, but what if babies are born via C-section? And please do not let this start the guilt train, because I myself was a baby born via C-section. Well, guess what? we are at a disadvantage. I am at a disadvantage in terms of immune health because I did not ingest that vaginal bacteria to promote a healthy immune system. So my immune system, even today, looks very different from a baby who was born vaginally. And I kid you not, there are a ton of studies and doctors far wiser in this field of immune health than myself. I am not a doctor, who are talking and advocating for babies who are born via C-section to be swabbed with the vaginal mucus of their mom. I know, let's just get past the grossness of how that sounds, and let's just breathe in and accept, gosh, what would that mean? It would mean babies wouldn't be born virtually sterile with an immune system into their first exposure being a hospital, which again is most bacteria is going to be wiped, even the good, because it's a sterile environment, and those bacteria that do exist are going to be the very bacteria that we don't want absorbed in creating the gut microbiome of our baby. So it begins at birth. There are also things that can be done soon after birth which promote a very healthy bacterial microbiome ecosystem for the baby. One is going to be a lot of skin to skin touch. Why? Because that skin to skin is going to again give the baby a very basic level of protection, exposing them to bacteria. Another thing is going to be, of course, mom's breast milk as much as possible, because with that breast milk comes a lot of the mom's own immunities against some of these chemicals that and toxins and bacteria that are bad and promote illness. Now, going back to also, what are some other things that compromise a newborn's immune system? Not only in the moments where they are exposed to these things, but really, truly, guys, affecting their ecosystem for the rest of their life. This is a very big deal. Well, antibiotics. And this one hits very, very close to home, because I truly believe that my microbiome was not healthy when I was pregnant and when I gave birth to my babies, even though it was a vaginal birth. They were born and they both had chronic compromised immune health issues, whether that be recurrent ear infections or bronchial breathing issues. They both had them. Of course, Hayden was in the NICU for a month and was on an antibiotic for the first entire year of his life. So you guys, it is no joke that we are continuing to fight the battle of a compromised immune system from early on. I'm not blaming that. There were many things that were necessitated, but it does have an effect on his immune health, as did Carson. Lots and lots of recurrent health issues, which honestly most likely stem from a compromised gut system from, you guessed it, myself. And I'm not harboring guilt there. I'm taking in the knowledge to say, what can I do about it now? What can we do about it as a family? So things like recurrent use of antibiotics. What does antibiotics have to do with this picture? One, when we take a round of antibiotics, it will kill off the bacteria. It kills off all the bad bacteria, which is good, but it also kills off the good bacteria that is fighting our battle. It literally changes the ecosystem of a person's bacterial self for upwards of 1 year. 1 year. So we are playing catch up and trying to reestablish a positive ecosystem after taking one round of antibiotics. And how many of us have been or know children and even adults who are recurrently on these antibiotics? think about it this way. How many adults, especially women, after you go on a round of antibiotics, are more prone to then having things like yeast infections, right? Or bladder infections. That is as a direct result from the killing off of the bacteria that actually works to your favor and making you more susceptible to follow-up infections. Which then what do? We take an antibiotic, which then continues to repeat the cycle. Please hear me, I am not anti-antibiotics. Right now, Hayden is on one. I have a love-hate relationship with them because it's important to be in the know about when are they necessary and making sure that they are in fact necessary. And then knowing what to do after them. What are other things that compromise bacteria? Things like a poor diet, which we will talk more about in just a minute, as well as, again, our infatuation with an antibacterial environment, which again we will talk about. So what in the world can we do? There's lots of things that we can do. Yay! I love equipping us, okay? Again, comments, you all. I want to hear, what are your thoughts? What are you finding? How is this lodging within you? Share with me your knowledge, because I can see you joining, and I know that there are a lot of you that have intensive knowledge in this area. So what can we do? One, yes, we can promote a positive replenishment of that gut bacteria. So I am incredibly in favor and incredibly picky about the probiotics that my family uses, thus the company that I represent, but I'm not going to go there with you. One, probiotics. If antibiotics are the anti-life, antibacteria, then probiotics are going to be pro that gut bacteria. You want to look for probiotics that especially have lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. You may also want to look for a probiotic that has an antifungal element that helps create a balanced ecosystem, which I will talk about more another day. You're also going to want to eat a reduced inflammatory diet. Inflammation is like a fire with the bacteria and in the gut that literally promotes things like sickness, leaky gut, etc. You can refer to past videos about that. So you want to increase foods such as fiber, which absorbs toxins, helps with positive stools, and maintains a healthy gut bacteria, such as veggies, fruits, whole grains, beans. You want to avoid sugars and refined sugars. I don't think that there's any accident that after holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, there is an abundancy of sickness. Sugar and anything that turns directly to sugar in the body promotes inflammation and promotes the growth of bad bacteria. So sugar is a big deal. You can research this your own self. But again, you're going to want to look for a diet high in fiber, also high in healthy fats, high in healthy fat. Things like avocados, nut butters, especially almond butters. If you're going to go butter, go for like the Kerrygold butter, which is more organic. Okay, so this is a big deal, and in the weeks and months to come, I'll be sharing some of the things that I'm learning with you, and we can again dialogue with this. Also, non-GMO foods. I know I live in the midst of agriculture. I'm not going to go completely there today with you. Just know that genetically modified food will impact immune health. It's a given. It's a given. So look for non-GMO. What else can we do with our kids? You guys, this is where there's this mantra that says, what is optimal is encompassed by natural. So what I'm going to be talking about is that the very things that are going to be most effective in fighting off this bacteria and poor immune health are going to be natural at their root, which is why my friends who do homeopathic methods have a leg in this game that we're talking about. They definitely have things that we should be listening to, and natural medicine like early chiropractic care can be a huge benefit. But what else can we be promoting? We can be promoting, you guys, kids. Kids should not be wrapped in a bubble. In fact, when we try to put them in a microbial bubble, we actually promote more sickness. Children should play outdoors and with others as much as possible. We should be encouraging our babies to be getting dirty, literally to be playing in the dirt. Now this is hard right now because where I live we have snow on the ground and ice, and so you can't get to the dirt, and that's another reason why immune health is compromised where we have winter seasons. But there are things that we can do. Again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be about cleanliness. We should encourage our children to wash their hands after using the bathroom, before meals, and when sick or in exposure to people who are sick, for sure. But not to go overboard, and even to look into soaps that are not necessarily antibacterial, because we need some of that good bacteria. What else can we do? We need to give our children downtime. Give them downtime and time to de-stress. This does not mean screen time. I'm kind of like becoming the anti-screen time mommy, which I'm sure my parents don't care about that, maybe even support me, but my children think I am the biggest Grinch ever. But no, downtime means actually downtime, reading a book, doing a puzzle, snuggling, and even better if having some playful engagement with you as their parents or their siblings or friends, because that boosts the immune system. Playful engagement, enjoyment, shared physical enjoyment, and again, that cuddling, that touching each other builds up the microbiome, builds up the ecosystem of bacteria. Ensuring enough rest helps with the ecosystem and the gut health bacteria. Recognizing that based on child's age and development, they should have anywhere between 10 to 14 hours of regular sleep time. We can boost their immunity, their immune system, with other supplements like vitamin D, omega-3s, and even things like elderberry can have a profound effect on the immune system. What? You know, I didn't know this, but when we promoted pets in our household, especially dogs, cats, mammalian animals, right, that we touch, when we are in exposure to them, they're licking us, they're playing in our space, they're touching us, our own bacterial jungle is supported and grown. So pets have a huge place at this table about supporting immune health and positive bacterial growth, to have a diversified gut system and gut bacteria. And finally, getting regular movement and exercise. Not too much, because if we go overboard, that can actually drive the immune system in the opposite direction. So I kind of say things that are most beneficial are going to be low impact. Walking, yoga, stretching, taekwondo, things that are not necessarily going to be so incredibly taxing on the body, are going to promote good, positive immune health and support. So these are just a few of the ideas that I have. I would love to hear some of the things that some other moms and dads, and even if I have some health experts on here, that they would share, because that's what is going to make this conversation rich, is the sharing. And I would say this conversation needs to be a shared conversation. So if this has blessed you, if you want to add more people to this conversation, then I would ask you to push the little share button and share it on your page, because I would love for this community conversation to grow exponentially. Other than that, I'm going to go upstairs and feed my kiddo some lunch and do some more snuggle this afternoon. Much love to you as we enter into the season of sickness. Let's do everything that we can to combat it. Bye, guys.